Welcome into Wager Talk TV. We are talking NFL action here. We get the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings Sunday afternoon. I am Drew Martin, joined by Rob Vino and Tony Finn. Robbie, coming to you first. What are you liking here? Cowboys minus 1 point road favorites, 47.5 being the total in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I think, Drew, when you try to break this down from a fundamental matchup standpoint, you wind up with as many conflicting arguments for one side as you do the other. Every good thing you find for Dallas, you can find a counter argument good for Minnesota. In honesty, except for a couple small differences, they're virtually the same team. Power ratings indicate that they're just as strong as one another, and the line, of course, where it is, opening at pick and moving to Dallas 1.5 indicates how close these teams are, not separated by much talent-wise. Therefore, we look to the situational aspect of this game in the handicap, and I think you have to look Dallas where situation is concerned. You have one team in Minnesota coming off a remarkable, and I mean remarkable, how you fumble in your own end zone when all you have to do is run out the clock is beyond me, but Buffalo found a way to do it. Minnesota took full advantage, came back from a 27-10 deficit on the road. Again, that's a draining comeback. Minnesota's been full of one-score victories all season long. To say that, this week it's going to end, I think is, a little presumptuous, but I do feel like Dallas in the situation they're in, coming off a game where they played an absolute victory into a loss in overtime, opposite ends of the spectrum here. I think Dallas pretty good bounce back, good weather conditions in this game as well, because Minnesota's a dome stadium, so we don't worry about any of that. The only thing I worry about with Dallas in this game, guys, is their run defense has become a real problem. So Dallas is going to have to step up, and Minnesota doesn't like to go to the run first, but they will go to the run first if they find some openings. If Dallas can keep the run a little bit contained, you have to believe that their pass pressure could get to Kirk Cousins. And Dallas is one of the best pass defenses out there. I don't think that it'll be as easy. Well, I won't even say it was easy, because Justin Jefferson was remarkable in that game, and Minnesota's got a great wide receiving core. But I think Dallas presents more of a challenge in the secondary than Buffalo did. So all things being equal, matchup-wise, Drew, I think situation, record, need for a win here really falls into Dallas's lap. I'm going to try that side here at the small price. It looks like money seems to agree with that. Like I say, it moved off a pick to 1.5. Give me Dallas and Dak Prescott. And that offense, which is a juggernaut in itself, give me Dallas minus the 1.5 on the road to give Minnesota their second loss of the year.
Good stuff from Robbie Vino. We're going to Tony typing on camera. Finn up next. Cowboys, Vikings. Cowboys laying 147.5 the total here, Tony.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting game. I'm listening to Rob, and I wouldn't argue with much. I think there's two questions that have to be asked in this game. I think the first question is that, what do the Vikings have to give up to sell their soul? Because how they've won this year and how they are where they're at is, I keep hearing the same thing over and over, and that's, the true definition of insanity, hearing the same thing over and over or expecting different results. There hasn't been any different results, guys. Vikings keep winning despite themselves, despite the fact that they've been outgained, that they're losing inside the stats, that a guy who has been abysmal on the big stage during his career, speaking of Cousins, especially on a Monday Night Football, and not that I believe in all that, but what they've done and the fact that, as Rob said, how the hell do you fumble in that situation? I mean, how does that happen? Again, how much did it cost Minnesota to sell their soul for this season? And the other question is, how can a defense, a rush end, not have one pressure, not one sack, who's been a monster? Dallas has been a defensive monster this year. How do they give up the yardage they gave up running the foot, the Minnesota, or should I say, to the Packers, and essentially give up a 2-touchdown lead against a team that has not been able to do anything offensively. Now, I know that we're I'm referencing the games, last week's games, et cetera, but I think they matter here. They matter. The fact is that I don't believe Dallas should probably be a favorite here. I mean, this is a team that showed a lot of that showed some real spunk when the absence of their QB number one. But the truth is, they have some soft spot. If this defense doesn't play at an elite level for Dallas, I don't care how you feel about this offense and what they're capable of. Zeke's not the same animal he's been over the past few years. And on Sunday, in this game, Minnesota and Dallas, I think that we need to give some. I think we can get some DNA tests. I think we need to find out whether Justin Jefferson is actually of our species. I still think he's probably an alien. This guy, what he's done can't be real, right? Because now what they're making that trade. Looking at that trade a few years back, that a lot of us felt like was crazy, giving up what we thought, well, maybe I'm the best receiver at that time, and depending on a rookie to come in and do the job, they were right. Justin Jefferson's done that job. I'm going to stay with. Listen, until I'm shown differently, I'm going to stay with the team that continues to win despite themselves. And they're in a situation where, tell me if I'm wrong, and prove to me I'm wrong. And that is that Dalvin Cook could have 200 yards rushing. If Green Bay can put up 167 yards rushing after they're down 28-14 in those two last drives, that basically put them on top and gave them a chance to win the game. What can Dalvin Cook do? Give me Minnesota plus the points at home.
Tony Finn, Robbie Vino, check them both out, wagertalk.com. Guys, we're talking live odds screen here. It's the best free live odds in the industry. We talked Dallas -1, 47.5 being the total. Best place to check that out for NFL odds. Live odds tab, top of the screen there, wagertalk.com. Welcome into Wager Talk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Tony Finn and Rob Vino of wagertalk.com as we're talking Monday Night Football, 8:20 Eastern kick. This game was flexed out, Robbie. We're talking the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. What I mean by flexed out, it's not in the same rotation order, guys, but it is the Sunday night game here. Robbie, we are seeing the Chiefs -6.5 as the road favorite, 50 being the total. Are you liking anything in Southern California Sunday night?
Yeah, I don't want to overcomplicate this, Drew. I think that the odds makers giving us a key total number of 51. It's worth taking a shot with over in this game. These two teams played in week 2. KC won that game 27-24, 51 points. Chargers had the total yardage edge in that game, 401 total yards to 319. Justin Herbert had a big game, 33 of 48 for 326. The Chargers were good in time of possession, plus 7 minutes and 14 seconds. All that said, strong total yardage advantage, strong passing game. Keenan Allen didn't play in that game. Now, this week, it looks as if not only Keenan Allen, but Mike Williams will both be back at wide receiver for the LA Chargers, which will certainly help because they've played a few weeks now with a banged-up receiving core. And Justin Herbert and the offensive line, they've done the best they can. Austin Eckler's done the best he could. But with this help, it should be good for the Chargers offensively. Chiefs offense last 3 games, absolutely on fire. 529 total yards, 499 total yards, 486 total yards. They're converting 55% of their third downs combined the last 3 weeks. So, the rich get richer. The Chiefs, we saw last week, you add Kadarius Toney to that lineup, and all of a sudden you've got even more game-breaking ability. Jerick McKinnon was really good out of the backfield catching balls in that contest. So Andy Reid against the Chargers defense here should probably be able to have his offense hit the 30 mark. The last, if you just look at series history here, guys, the last 4 games in this series have all gone over 50 points, 51, 62, 54, 59. 5 of the last 7 are over this number. Like I said, I don't really want to find ways to overcomplicate this. It's going to be played on a, good turf here at LA. I'm going to take over 50, Drew. I just think there'll be enough points scored, and the fact that we still have the value of that 51, I'll take it. I would say this: once Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are formally announced to play in this game, this thing probably goes up to 51.5, 52, and you lose a couple key numbers. So if you like over, play it now. Chargers Chiefs over 50 points.
All right, Robbie. Tony, coming to you next. Brought up a lot of good points there, did Rob Vino. Controlled climate in Inglewood. Total of 50, 6.5. That's the Chiefs on the road. What are you liking Sunday night?
Rob mentioned something that I find really, I found it amazing. First off, that the rest of the league, knowing that K. Tony was going to be available, at least it was made aware to me for a couple, 3 weeks, even longer than that they let Tony go to the Chiefs, that somebody else let that happen. Not that I'm saying that someone can stop it, but we all know that I find that a mistake on the league's part, because if you saw Tony, second week, I think he'd been with the team just over a week, right? And he only had 2 catches the week before. They weren't using him very much, but he's a weapon. He's a weapon, not only catching the ball, he's a weapon on the jet sweep, running the ball. I'm not suggesting that he's replacing, the now Miami receiver. I'm not suggesting that that he's Ty Hill in a different body. I'm not suggesting this, but it's a problem. It's a problem, especially for a defense that's as damaged as San Diego is. For the good portion of the game on Sunday night, you saw what I thought was inept play calling by a guy that's supposed to be known for play calling, Shanahan. You also saw a San Francisco team that can't run the ball on the goal line, because I'm telling you, if the Chargers are stopping you on the goal line with their third and fourth string, second and third string defensive tackles, and a defense that is absolutely they're crippled. And what they were able to do to San Francisco, it's one of 2 things. Either they're pretty good, their depth's outstanding, the Chargers, or something's amiss in San Francisco with the new addition of C-Mac, et cetera, et cetera. In this game, it's hard not to like the Chiefs. I certainly don't like laying 6.5, 7. What Rob mentioned in this about the additions or the returns of the Chargers wideouts being a possibility, you saw this line come back a little bit. I saw this game open 7, move immediately to 7.5 after the Chargers lost. And any sharp group saw what I saw, and that was San Francisco. I'm questioning whether San Francisco is a championship caliber team, the way they played, at least on Sunday, and the Chargers doing everything. They did everything really well and still lost. This Chiefs team's playing pretty well. The defense Spags got this team rushing the quarterback better than any point during his tenure as the DC there under Andy Reid. And if they continue, this defense continues to play the way they're playing, stopping the run, getting the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback without blitzing as much, although they still need to get better than that, I think, to be that lock, to be a Super Sunday on one of the Super Sunday sidelines. I certainly like the Chiefs on Sunday. I certainly don't like winning a touchdown. Not even in SoFi, where there's not really a home field advantage. Don't want to do that, but the Chiefs win this game. And when they do win this game, they really, really separate themselves from the rest of the field in the AFC West. And then they become a true contender for not the Super Bowl, but for the number 1 seed in the AFC.
He's Tony Finn. We heard from Robbie Vino as well. Guys, enjoy the AFC West matchup Sunday night in Southern California. Make sure to check out wagertalk.com as well. Monday is a good day to do so. $9 Mondays. All plays from all handicappers discounted to just $9. Check it out, wagertalk.com. Welcome into Wager Talk TV. We are talking NFL Thursday night action. We got the Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers, 8:20 Eastern kick in Lambeau Field. Tony Finn, Rob Vino, I am Drew Martin. Robbie, coming to you first as we break this down from a betting perspective. We're seeing total of 41. It kicked up to 42, shot back down, and -3 now. That's the Green Bay Packers. It opened 1.5. They took some money off the opener, laying a field goal here at home. What are you thinking, Titans and Packers Thursday night, Rob?
Yeah, not sure why the total would go up 1 and then come back 1, Drew. I will say this. It's going to be pretty cold in Green Bay on Thursday night for the 4-hour period in which this game will be played, temperature is expected to be between 12 and 16 degrees. So it's going to be a little chilly there. I kind of like the first half in this game, Drew. Green Bay -1.5. I'm going to, take a flyer on the fact that they have a little momentum built off of that overtime win against the Cowboys. Should be a little bit of a spring back, that comeback win. And they're playing with a little desperation right now. Tennessee doesn't feel the same desperation. They're in a pretty comfortable spot at this point in time. Green Bay does need to stack up wins to get themselves back into some sort of, cemented place in the playoff race in the NFC. The scheduling spot favors Green Bay too. I mean, when you play on these short weeks, Sunday to Thursday, it's nice when you can just stay at home, no travel required. For Tennessee, they do have to travel. So I think there's a little edge there for Green Bay, especially where practice time is concerned for the Titans. They should be short. Matchups here are interesting. Tennessee does not threaten anybody through the air with their offense at this point in time. 31st ranked pass offense in the league, 148 pass yards per game. Therefore, if you're Green Bay, your defensive concern is your run defense, but they should be able to take 8 in the box, focus on Derrick Henry like most Titan opponents do, see if they can keep him a little bit contained with 8 men in the box and, just play the passing game honest. If they can get Tennessee in down and distance situations, the Packer pass rush is a top 10 pass rush, and the Titans pass blocking unit, according to metrics used by Pro Football Focus, last in the NFL. The worst pass blocking unit in the NFL right now, the Tennessee Titans. So that could be an edge for Green Bay if they can, keep Henry quiet on first, second down and get the Titans into a passing situation. I also think that the Packers bring this, kind of a balanced offense to the table here. They can run it, they can throw it a little bit, especially after Christian Watson broke loose last week. I think you get Alan Lazard back here. The 3 times Tennessee has played a balanced offense, guys, those 3 teams were Buffalo, Kansas City, and the Raiders. Those 3 teams went for 414, 499, and 396 total yards. That's an average of 436 a game. I'm not saying Green Bay will get to 436, but you get the point. Tennessee's defensive statistics are built on a lot of one-dimensional opposing offenses. When they've had to face 2-dimensional offenses, they've had trouble. I think Green Bay probably works a little bit backwards here and throws first to set up the run because the Titans are built to stop the run. And I like the fact that Green Bay probably can take advantage of what Denver couldn't on Sunday, which is Titan defensive injuries. I mean, the Titans have some key guys out. I was surprised Russell Wilson and company couldn't do a little more offensively than what they did. But for Tennessee, no Jeffrey Simmons, no Bud Dupree, probably no Christian Fulton. There is a chance they get Armani Hooker back at safety. Going to play first half here just because I fear Derrick Henry and that Tennessee offensive line may be wearing Green Bay down second half and holes opening up second half. But first half, I expect the Packers to be full of life here, ready to roll at home on a Thursday night. So I'll lay 1.5 in the first half in that game, Drew.
All right, good stuff from Robbie Vino. We got Tony Finn here as well. Tony, Tennessee Titans, Green Bay Packers. I'll tell you this before I throw it over to you. Looking at this, a lot of people liking the Packers taking the money, but the Tennessee Titans have been an absolute wagon, covering 7 straight. Big reason because of their defense, 6 straight unders as well. So a lot trending here towards the Titans. What are you thinking in Lambeau Thursday night?
Well, the fear and loathing that comes with assessing one of these games that the Titans are in becomes a lot longer than a week-long task. But here's what I really look forward to, guys. I imagine that Denver was coming off a bye. Titans weren't. They were coming off a game against the Chiefs. They were going into this game. And then I was even looking further ahead, and I thought, won't it be beautiful to see Derrick Henry have 25 carries, 150 yards against Denver, and come into a Thursday, come into a game on short rest, right? And that said, listen, the Titans kind of reversed course a little bit. If you watch some of this game, it wasn't just because they were behind against Denver. It was because they know that basically teams come in, Tannehill's back, they're not going to throw the ball. They never throw the ball. they threw the ball around a little more than they typically do. I think Tannehill almost 40 at least attempts through the air. The Titans found a way to win that game. Henry only had 19 carries, guys, 53 yards. It's not like he should be worn down against this Green Bay defensive front. And while I never thought the Titans would have what we just call a hangover in that close game, that close loss, overtime loss to the Chiefs, they're such a level team. They don't get too high, they don't get too low, because they don't do anything really well and they don't do anything really poorly. So how else can you be, right? A really interesting game. Do we believe that the Packers kept their season alive? Do we believe that overtime victory that took some grit, guys? It really did. Other than maybe some poor play by the when Dallas basically up 2 touchdowns, and some of the mistakes that were made by that offense, not only play calling but by our great quarterback that we love to love and love to hate, depending on where you live. My thought is this, and that is, I still trust this Titans team. It's hard for me to all of a sudden jump ship from telling everyone it's time to fade the Packers, because they're done. They're done. They're absolutely done. It's hard for me to jump ship from that. And going into this game right now, this very minute, if I'm in this room, this war room, and I'm pushing money across the sportsbook counter, I'm pushing it in on the Titans.
He's Tony Finn. Check him out, wagertalk.com, as well as Robbie Vino. I am Drew Martin. Guys, enjoy the game Thursday night. Also, make sure to check out the website. Mondays, a great day to do so. $9 Mondays. All plays, all handicappers discounted to just $9. Check it out, wagertalk.com.